Hi everybody, happy Monday. This is Paula, also known as Big Green Pen, everywhere all over social media. And on Mondays, I join you to talk about what I blogged about this week. This week, I blogged about a book called Everybody Matters, which I really meant to bring in here and show you, but I guess that's the beauty of being live. Give me a second. Here it is. Everybody Matters. It's by Bob Chapman and Sisodia. It has taken me a really long time to read this book, which at first was frustrating me. It's nothing about the book, but just about my life patterns. If I was waiting for a doctor's appointment, I would be more inclined to check my phone than read a book. But I actually like the fact that it took so long because some of the takeaways really require you to reflect a bit, and doing it in sort of bite-sized pieces gave me the opportunity to do that. What I'm going to share with you is some of the quotes from the book and then encourage you to go to my blog to read what I think about those quotes. Again, I'm at biggreenpen.com. The first thing that really struck me is the emphasis on the power of everybody, on the fact that everybody matters at an organization. And the authors deal with a lot of manufacturing organizations where there may be people on the line and people in the executive offices, and it's easy in those situations for the two parties to not ever meet or not respect each other or to be in silos. And the quote I really liked is that everybody, or my thought on it was everybody really means everybody, and the quote was that their efforts were not just the fortunate few or exceptionally talented. It is true that everybody matters. I've always felt that way as a supervisor, and I loved seeing it echoed in this book. The second is the power of clear communication. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Tell people what you expect and they'll do it, but there are so many hurdles on the way to clearly communicating. The quote that I pulled out of that section was, "When people know their goal, they are inspired to express their gifts, and they discover capabilities they didn't even know they had." So many people in our workplace don't feel like they can use their gifts, or don't feel that they can go beyond what's required, or for whatever reason are finding a hurdle in doing that. And I loved the tie-in between clear communication and people performing well. The power of honoring life outside the workplace. This is huge for me. I see in our lives the fact that I know when I'm at work, I am still in my head and in my heart a parent, and when I'm parenting, I'm still a dedicated employee. And this book made a real effort to honor the fact that people don't always compartmentalize, nor should they. And here's my quote about that. "An important takeaway for participants learning our approach to leadership is that they can be, indeed must be, the same person at work that they are at home. They don't need to wear a mask to work. The leadership checklist," which I linked to in the blog, "is not just for the 8 or 10 hours people spend in the office or in the factory. It's for all 24 hours and every aspect of their life." Lastly, there's a sentiment that talks about, sort of ties into that work and personal life are conjoined, but it also ties into the fact that they expect people to integrate the values of the organization and live them, that they don't expect them to be automatons. I loved, "Since when do you need a memo from corporate that tells you that it is acceptable to be good stewards of the lives in your care?" And I loved these simple 4 words. They're 4 simple words, but they're a huge, complex idea. The 4 words are, "I am the message." I really feel that an employee shouldn't say, "I work for ABC Drilling Company, but I am ABC Drilling Company," that I love it so much and I feel so connected to the vision, values, and mission of that organization that I can say, "I am that." As an aside, I went through a drive-through recently, it was a few months ago now, at a Wendy's, and the person working the drive-thru said, "Welcome to my Wendy's." One little pronoun, but A, she sounded like she meant it, because when you say those kind of things but don't sound like you mean them, it backfires. But she sounded like she meant it. She sounded like she cared if my order was right, if I enjoyed it, if I had a good experience. So that's something that I really like, is I am the message. Lastly, on this topic, all proceeds from the sale of this book are being donated to a nonprofit which works with nonprofit organizations on the communication strategies. So that's another plus of this book. And lastly, off the topic of Everybody Matters, but one last plug. And in full disclosure, I did get a review copy that I did not have to pay for, but I loved the book. My opinion, it is not something that I feel obligated to say. I really loved the book. Lastly, I wanted to mention that my employer, Weaving Influence, is doing a motivation seminar this Friday at noon. And it is moderated by Susan Fowler, but it also includes 7 or 8 really influential people on the topic of motivation and how the science of motivation can work in your organization. And really explore some questions like, what besides money motivates people, or does money motivate people? And gamification, and some really cool topics. If you need more information, just tweet me. I'm at Big Green Pen on Twitter. I'm pretty much everywhere on social media, also on Instagram. But I'd be happy to get you some information. It's a free webinar, and just sign up. Even if you can't participate live, it is also recorded, and you'll be able to get that. And again, the speaker is Susan Fowler, and she's Fowler Susan, sorry. It's FOWLERSUSANN on Twitter. To answer your questions, I am a blogger, and I enjoy social media, and I come on Periscope every Monday to recap my blog for the week. And I also wanted to share about that webinar. Thanks so much. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I appreciate you joining me.